Morning, everyone. God is good.
Right, well, our chief correspondent, Carvey Solokul, has hot-footed it into the studio for more on this, and this has escalated really quickly, hasn't it? Where did this all start to go wrong for Amorim?
Look, I think the bottom line is Manchester United are a very difficult club to manage, and Ruben Amorim felt that he was not the manager. He felt that he was being treated as the head coach, and I know his job title is the head coach, but when he took the job, he was given assurances that he would have a big say, he would be the one in charge. So I think his feeling is that there's been a power struggle behind the scenes. His relationship with the director of football, Jason Wilcox, has had its ups and downs. There have been some disagreements behind the scenes about their strategy during this transfer window. So this has been bubbling away for quite a while. And we know that Ruben Amorim is somebody who is very honest, can be quite emotional, says what he thinks in news conferences. And we have had hints that this was coming. And I think from his perspective, this has not come out of the blue. He is not surprised. He knew the writing was on the wall, but he feels that he has done a pretty good job overall. And if he'd kept his job, and if United had been willing to back him, he was very, very bullish that United would have finished in the Champions League places at the end of this season.
We've got a poll asking whether this is the right decision. It's split about 50-50 at the moment. And I think the timing is a big thing here, isn't it? Because if you look at the table, United are 3 points off fourth. They've got a great opportunity here to come in the top four. Top five could be enough, easily, to be in the Champions League. And yet they're changing manager at this crucial point. Is it a risky time to do this?
Absolutely. I think Ruben Amorim feels that if he'd been allowed to sign one or two experienced players this month, and once the players who were away at AFCON had come back, then United would have had a very good chance of finishing in the top 5 places. And fifth will probably be good enough to get you in the Champions League this season. So he feels that progress was being made. It's a big, big risk to get rid of Ruben Amorim. Also, you're going to have to pay him off. We know how much it has cost Manchester United to pay off managers in the past. And if you look at the recent history of Manchester United since Sir Alex Ferguson left, you can make a very, very good argument that they should have stuck with every single manager that they actually ended up sacking. David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Okay, Eric Ten Hag, I think that one is debatable because of his record in the transfer market. But you could say all these managers, if they had been given more time, United would be in a better position than they're in at the moment. I have some sympathy with Ruben Amorim because Manchester United, not only are they one of the biggest clubs in the world, they're up there with the profile of a Real Madrid or a Barcelona, but they're different from those clubs because of the ownership structure. You've got the Glazer family who basically own the club. You've got some of the shares who are traded on the New York Stock Exchange. You've got Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe who only own 30% of the club but are actually running the club. Then you've got the fact that so many people have been laid off. There have been so many...
How can you run a club at 30%? Run a club at 30%. We can use the house analogy again. If you go to buy a house and you have $900,000 in cash and buy the house flat out plain, $900K, boom, buy it. You own 100% of that house. So if one day you just feel like I want to wake up and just fucking flatline the house, burn it down, and start over with a new house, you can do that. It's your house. You own the whole thing. Now, if you're in Sir Jim's position, 30% of the club, you go ahead and burn the house down. Because when you burn the house down, not only are you now not going to have a house, but you're still going to have to pay the bank. You're still in debt. You're going to be paying for a burnt down house. You owe somebody for that. It's a difference. The amount of say you have is crazy. When you own the whole thing, if you want to burn it down, that's on you. Doesn't cost you a cent. It's fine. But at his level, like let's say the bank owns 70% of the club and he owns 30, and then he goes and burns the house down, I mean, you're fucked. You didn't own the shit in the first place. You had no say in what goes on here because you don't own it, and then you went and burned it down? You went and made a decision is the point. You don't get to make decisions. You don't have you have 30%, we have 70. If we say we're going to burn it down, that's different. Then that's different. They have the majority, but at the end of the day, all they'll do is just give you your money back, and you're out. I'll probably try to come up with a better one if that one's a bit spotty, but you get the point. At 30%, you can't run the club is the point. You can't run anything at 30%. That doesn't even make sense. I run this at 30%. You don't run this. You run 3/10 of this shit. So who runs the other 7/10?
Redundancies, cutbacks, and you've got new people in running the club who don't have much of a link with Manchester United. And then you've got Ruben Amorim and his coaching team who are trying to run the team and the football side, first team, as well. So it's a very, very difficult job. Ruben Amorim saw this. And I think, in a way, Ruben Amorim has been the author of his own misfortune, because I think if he'd just kept quiet and hadn't been so honest and hadn't given quite so much away in news conferences, then maybe he would still have his job. But who knows? Maybe he didn't want the job anymore. Maybe he thought, as you could see from his performance in the news conference yesterday, it felt like he was a man who'd had enough. He was basically saying to the hierarchy at Manchester United, back me or sack me, because I've had enough of this. And he was basically saying, I'm only going to be here for a maximum another 18 months anyway, and I'm not going to quit. So it's up to you to decide what you want to do. And they have responded at the first opportunity, the earliest opportunity this morning, by saying to him, thank you very much, see you later.
Yeah, that's not backing, it's sacking is basically what they've done. You mentioned the way Manchester United is run there. Sacking is
by saying to him, thank you very much, see you later.
Yeah, that's not backing, it's sacking is basically what they've
bingo
done. You mentioned the way Manchester United is run there. Does Ineos's decision-making need to come under serious scrutiny again after this? Because they've made mistakes in the past, high-profile mistakes. This was their big decision, and it's ended like this. At a time when no one was really expecting it. They could have done this before.
They appointed Ruben Amorim knowing that he plays with three at the back. They knew what they were getting into. They knew that the way he plays goes against Manchester United's traditions. Dan Ashworth, for instance, somebody who was not in favour of Ruben Amorim being appointed, he ended up losing his job at Manchester United, in part over the decision to appoint Ruben Amorim. So, yes, Ineos have made big mistakes. I am now thinking of an interview that Jim Ratcliffe gave recently. And I remember being here on set with you, talking about it, when Jim Ratcliffe was having a go at the media he was having a go at journalists. He was saying, we are going to back Ruben Amorim. We are not going to, I'm sorry here if I don't recall his exact words, but basically what he was saying is, I'm not going to listen to the opinions of journalists and columnists.
Any old journalist who
The picture you're painting is quite a bleak one, actually, isn't it? Because if you think about Germany, all that industrial heartland is, a lot of it is the chemicals industry.
Yep.
France is pretty big. I mean, the UK still has some chemical stuff left. I mean, not a
great deal.
Not a great deal.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of employment which could go in the next 10 years.
A million jobs. A million direct jobs, and probably you multiply that by 10 if you look at all the indirects that are related in terms of services and what have you. So it's probably 10 million jobs in Europe and $750 billion in value. We have to be patient, and we have a long-term plan. It isn't a light switch, and you can't run a club like Manchester United on knee-jerk reactions to some journalist who goes off on one, every week.
Damn, Sir Jim is fucking based as fuck.
Can't run a club like Manchester United on knee-jerk reactions to some journalist who goes off on one, every week.
Yo, he's a beast.
Sorry.
So Amorim gets at least the rest of the season then?
Amorim, he's a good guy. Yeah, I mean,
that's not the same thing. He's a good guy. It's not the rest of the season.
Yeah, I would say Ruben. He needs to demonstrate that he's a great coach over 3 years.
So
I like how he said that, bro. Because the point is over 3 years. So we're not ever talking about sacking him. We're talking about backing him. The 30% is saying this right here in your face. That he wanted that guy for 3 years. He wanted that guy. The guy's gone, by the way.
He's a great coach over 3 years.
You hear how he said that?
That he's a great coach over 3 years.
So you give him 3 years?
Yeah, that's where I would be.
Yeah,
3 years, because football's not overnight.
No.
He just said it's not a light switch.
No, and as you say, the Alex Ferguson example is exactly that, isn't it?
And you look at Arteta at Arsenal. He had a miserable time for the first couple of years.
Yeah. Have Reform or the Conservatives asked you about energy policy at all?
I'm meeting with Nigel Farage before Christmas. He's asked for a meeting, and I've met with Kemi Badenoch. She's talked about it. So. Do you think we have had a hearing, yeah.
Do you think your chat led to her saying, I'm going to open up the North Sea?
I don't know who she's spoken to.
Well, she's spoken to you.
To go off on one every day. What he was saying is, I'm not going to listen to the opinions of journalists and columnists.
Any old journalist
who go off on one every day. We're going to back our managers. I took issue with what he said then, because the reporters who cover Manchester United are some of the best reporters in the business. They know the.
Yeah, okay.
Chelsea's got a lot of potential.
I think Chelsea are a really good team.
We employ Pedro Neto.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
for him to say what he said, I thought was a little bit strange.
Tell you what, you don't need to paraphrase there, because we have that grab from Sir Jim Ratcliffe, which was in October.
I'm faster. I am faster.
And he said this about Ruben Amorim.
We have to be patient, and we have a long-term plan. It isn't a light switch, and you can't run a club like Manchester United on knee-jerk reactions to some journalist who goes off on one. I would say Ruben, he needs to demonstrate that he's a great coach over 3 years.
So you give him 3 years?
Yeah, that's where I would be.
Yeah.
3 years, because football's not overnight.
No, and as you say, the Alex Ferguson example is exactly
3
that,
years.
isn't it?
And you look at Arteta at Arsenal. You know, he had a miserable time for the first couple of years.
Yeah. Is there any Arteta out shirts left in London? They were everywhere.
Great coach over 3 years. Need to give him time. Did Radcliffe and Ineos look very silly now after that?
Well, that's not for me to say, but that interview was in October, so that was 3 months ago. So Ruben Amorim didn't get 3 years, he got 3 months. Now, I think from United's point of view, what I would say is we're seeing a pattern here of these head coaches coming in and wanting to get more power than modern football clubs are willing to give them. We've seen it with Chelsea and Enzo Maresca as well. What these head coaches have to realise, from a club's point of view, is that they are part of a team behind the team. Gone are the days when you're going to have a manager who's in charge of everything. Unless you're Pep Guardiola, you're not going to get that kind of control.
Okay, interesting.
And he doesn't have total control at Manchester City. I think Mikel Arteta has got himself more and more power because he's been so successful. And
Because he's been there so long.
Has
going
a
to
bit
win
of
the
power
title.
as well, doesn't he?
Emery as well. I think I was reading someone call Aston Villa Unai Emery FC. He's got himself a lot of power as well. But by and large, the modern head coach is the head coach. You've got to get on with the sporting directors, the recruitment team, the medical team, the performance team, the data and analyst team. Those relationships have got to be working well. And if you get into a situation where those relationships are fracturing, then you're going to end up with the situation that we've got now at Manchester United and the situation we had at Chelsea. The difference between United and Chelsea is that Enzo Maresca decided that he had had enough. He wasn't actually sacked, he stepped down, although that's all being sorted out by lawyers now. But in this situation, it's Manchester United who've decided, look, enough is enough. We cannot actually enjoy fracturing, working well. And if you and Alice team, by and large, the modern head coach is the head coach. You've got to get on with the sporting directors, the recruitment team, the medical team, the performance team, the data and analyst team.
So you have to. So what you're saying is, this is what Amorim said. He said, I didn't come here to be the head coach. I came to be the manager. And what you're saying is the head coach has to get along with all those people, because all those jobs encompass what a manager would do. They run the analysis team. They run the medical team. They run everything. Transfers, recruitment. That's the manager. You're now saying the club has that, and then the head coach that comes in has to agree with whatever those people are and what they do. And Amorim is saying, I don't want to agree with them. I don't want to agree with your analysis team, your medical team, all your shit. I came here to be the manager, not the head coach. So this is the paradox we're in. Amorim's literally saying, I need to be doing all that, not the board, not your team that you have in place at Man United that work for the Glazers. I want to do that. I'm Ruben Amorim. You guys are saying, oh, I can't get a team together. I got a bad squad. Why am I playing youngsters? Well, I don't own the recruiting department. They have a recruiting department that does all that for me. That does everything for me. And they just label me. My only job here is the head coach. I coach players and put them out on the pitch, and I basically run training. And Amorim said, I don't want that. Because just what you talked about with Arteta. Arteta didn't want... It took Arteta years to get his hooks in. He's got the fans on his side. He's got everyone on his side. But no one... It's like you guys... Short-term memory, goldfish brain. Like you guys didn't have your hooks in for Arteta out. Arsenal's board... I need to look them up. They're respectable. They stuck with him. He was under fucking pressure. I think one of the seasons they finished 8th. I don't know how he made it through that. Anyway, so that's the paradox right there. Ruben's saying I came to be the manager. You guys are saying I'm the manager of Man United, and my win percentage and all this, bro. I'm a head coach. Because you guys are pulling up. Ruben Amorim. He's probably looking at it. He turns on his TV. It actually flicks right to Sky Sports. First thing he sees is Ruben Amorim, manager of Manchester United, and it shows a list of the last 20 managers. And he looks at the top and it says, last 10 managers of Manchester United's win percentage. Bro clicks the TV off. I'm not the manager, bro. I'm the head coach. I don't do any of that shit. When I go out there and play against Leeds, game gets done, I go back to the locker room and I say, okay, what's going on with Bruno? And they say, he's good, he'll be fit in a week. And I say, what's going on with him? And they say, he's good, he'll be fit in a week. Okay. So now I gotta talk to Bruno. Hey Bruno, what's going on? Oh, well, they said this and that and I'm good in a week. And Ruben's like, what? You got a strained knee and you're back in a week? Okay. I don't know about that. See, that's the conflict. That's the potential conflicts that Ruben Amorim was having. And it's not even about the medical team, man, because it's clearly about recruitment. The recruitment. Ruben needs to take control of the recruitment. He said it in the interview before. I don't want any transfers in January. If they go buy a player in January, it would have completely continued the cycle of saying Amorim gets players and doesn't do anything with them. So for me, it seems like Ruben just cut the string there, because it seems like they're ramping up to buy someone in January. So now if they do go buy someone in January, you guys literally have no excuse. You can't say it's Amorim that bought a player. So now you literally have to look at the cold hard facts and say who is buying a player. The first thing you guys are going to say is Ineos, obviously. But you see, you're going to have to do it together, in unison, this time. Because you're going to have to say the Glazers and Ineos. So. Wild work. Oh fuck, not that shit. Habit. Everyone's playing this. Speed's on, so that's all speed, right? IRL? Arc Raiders.
Exclamation mark Discord, and then make sure to accept all of your roles and then accept all the rules to get access to all the channels, and then put your prayer request.
What? Three Kings Three Kings Parade? If you guys I think it's yeah, I got them all in here, bro. 5 months, 3 months. Yeah, bro, peep some of these, man. Yeah, I wonder what the lasses are up to. Yeah, man. It's all there, bro. Trust.
Those relationships have got to be working well. And if you get into a situation where those relationships are fracturing, then you're going to end up with the situation that we've got now at Manchester United and the situation we had at Chelsea. The difference between United and Chelsea is that Enzo Maresca decided that he had had enough.
So did Ruben. What do you think that press conference was?
He wasn't actually sacked, he stepped down, although that's all being sorted out by lawyers now. But in this situation, it's Manchester United who've decided, look, enough is enough. We cannot have our head coach saying the kind of things that he has been saying in the media and at press conferences over the last couple of days.
I just want to finish this chat by talking about Bruno Fernandes, because he's turned down opportunities to leave the club in the past. Is there a danger now he might have a change of heart?
That is a very good question.
Is there a... He's turned down... I just want to finish this chat by talking about Bruno Fernandes, because he's turned down opportunities to leave the club in the past. Is there a danger now he might have a change of heart?
One more time.
In the past. Because he's turned down opportunities to leave the club in the past. Is there a danger now he might have a change of heart?
And actually leave? No. Bro, he can't leave United now. Not in the state it's in. He won't. Unless they force him out. He might be the next one to get forced out. Amorim has been forced out today. You're next. Bruno's next. They're gonna push him out. And Cunha will be the captain. And they'll sell fucking $1 billion in jerseys.
That is a very good question. A very good question. Bruno Fernandes is somebody who's very, very close to Ruben Amorim. Many people believe that if it wasn't for Ruben Amorim, Bruno Fernandes would have left Manchester United last summer. Bruno Fernandes himself has come out in an interview in Portugal a couple of weeks ago and said that he felt that Manchester United were happy, would have been happy for him to leave in the summer. And he felt that he was a bit hurt by that. Ruben Amorim said to him, I want you to stay. You have to stay. You are a very, very important player for me. Even though he's been injured recently, Ruben Amorim has been talking about the fact that he's always on the training ground, helping out, observing, training. So if I was a United supporter, I would be worried about the long-term future of Bruno Fernandes. I'm not sitting here and saying they're going to sell him this January, he's going to go to Saudi Arabia. Not at all. I'm not saying that. But everybody knows what his contractual situation is. Everybody knows about the interest from clubs, not just in Saudi Arabia, but across Europe as well. And everybody knows how close he was to Ruben Amorim. So,
okay, so as this video ends, let's just make sure we got our bases covered. Now that we know Ruben is sacked, can everyone slow down? Okay. So, don't go start saying, when a player gets bought in January, don't say Darren Fletcher bought that fucking player. Okay, so if Darren Fletcher isn't the one buying players, who the fuck is buying them? Well, it's going to be one out of two people. And just knowing that right there is fine. That's a good start.
Very interesting to see what kind of response, if any.
Manchester United have sacked.
No.
I have finally stopped walking. I am finally seated. Truth is, when I heard that Man United might be firing Ruben Amorim, I canceled all my plans. I canceled my holiday in New York. I rushed to the airport, took the first flight I could, JFK to Heathrow, just so I could be seated for this exact moment, the minute the news broke. Ladies and gentlemen, and I can't believe I'm saying these words, because genuinely, I think I had given up hope that this could happen. I didn't see this coming until the antics of the press conference yesterday. I did not see this coming. So the words I'm about to say at this exact moment right now, I can scarcely believe they're leaving my lips. Man United have just fired Ruben Amorim. Wow. It's good to be back, first and foremost. It's very, very good to be back. It's good to have the soundboard. It's good to have the setup. Guys, I look like $1 million right now. I was ready to go to a shoot right now. All jokes aside, I was meant to go do an EAFC shoot with Zach Jalab. I swear, the Uber was on its way. I saw my phone 10 a.m. sharp. Ruben Amorim sacked. I swear on everything I love. I called Zach Jalab. I said, bro, we got to push this back an hour or so. We have to. I'm sorry. You're my guy. I know I made this commitment to you, but this is deeper than rap, bro. This is bigger than business. This means something. Man United have fired Ruben Amorim. Now, honestly, ever since his outburst in yesterday's press conference, the writing was on the wall. Before that, genuinely, guys, I think I had given up all hope that this was ever going to happen. I had come to the disappointment, the realization, the understanding that this is we're in this situation until the end of the season.
We are live. Rio, Steve, we're live. The big news has come in. Tell the peeps where it is, man.
Wow, man. Listen, guys, I want to welcome you back for another episode, obviously, for Rio Ferdinand Presents. But we were going to do a normal show today. We were going to record a normal show. We were talking about how we're structuring the show, etc. What were the topics? There's only one topic right now to talk about, and that is the sacking of Ruben Amorim at Manchester United. They have sacked him. They have sacked him, man. Wow, guys, this is brought to you by Crafted, by the way, one of our trusted partners. And I know the guys there are a load of Man United fans as well. They're going to be tuning in. But listen, man, we are live for this one, guys. So make sure you stay tuned. Tell a friend. Send it on. Get people on the live because we're here and we're going to talk to you live and direct. And we're going to ask some questions later on a Q&A while we are on the live. But I think we just need to start and just get through this, man, because I didn't anticipate this when I woke up this morning that Ruben Amorim would be one of the guys that would be getting the sack. He wouldn't have been on my first 3 or 4 or 5 people that I would have put as managers to get the sack right now in the league. So I am surprised. But when you look at his record in black and white, I'm not surprised, which is weird. And it sounds weird when I say that, but...
Not really. He just said he's a fucking head coach. He's not a fucking manager. So the ownership team gives the head coach shitty players. Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Dallo... You know what I'm saying? And a bunch of kids on the bench. That's what the Glazers are doing. They're giving that to the head coach. And then you guys are expecting the head coach to fucking do something with that. You guys are literally waiting for Harry Maguire to come back from injury. To start playing well?
Where do we start, man? Joe, help me out here.
We got to go for the stats. You just spoke about his record there, Rio. That's 63 games, 25 wins, 15 not made solely on this season, but mostly maybe because he went against the hierarchy, Rio. Because we've seen 2 managers this week sacked when they spoke out against the people above. Do you reckon that's the main reason above results?
I think that's been the definitive and reason why it's been so sharp and quick overnight. His comments were hours ago. Like you say, two managers now, Maresca at Chelsea and now Amorim at Man United, have spoken out against the hierarchy and have been sacked immediately. So it tells you that's not the right thing to do. But what I would say is that his record is actually the worst of any manager at Manchester United post Sir Alex Ferguson. I think it's something like 33, 35% win percentage, which is the lowest.
Okay. That's fine, but what's your point?
Yeah, so when you look at it like that, you go, are you really surprised? What I would say is, man, I really want to get everyone on the chat and on the live to really throw in all your questions, because we want to get through them and answer as many as we can, right? But I saw his last two press conferences, and I was sitting there and I was texting in the group before, and I was just thinking, something's not right here. This guy, one of his best traits and most kind of likable things about him have always been that his ability to be quite punchy in his press conferences, upbeat, and he had quite a jovial way about himself in those press conferences, right? And the last two that he done looked depressing. And I must say, I didn't say it because I get the ability to go into the training ground and see people and talk and whatnot at times, right? But when I saw it, the last time I went there and I interviewed Bruno, I saw the manager when me and Ruben had a little chat for 5-10 minutes. Like I always do when I see him. He's warm. He's spends a lot of time with you and he talks to you and he goes into detail and he's very, you were with me once, Steve, when we done it in pre-season. He's open as you like. He's an open book. When I went there the last time, I noticed immediately that there was a coldness about him. There was a real difference to what I'd seen before. And it was almost like now I look back with hindsight, I'm going, things were starting to cook before Christmas. This isn't just an overnight thing, I don't think, in terms of his dialogue with the hierarchy and the way that he's been feeling about things. I felt this coldness that we've seen in the last two press conferences. I saw it in him. Now, the training ground felt good. The vibe in the training ground around the players, but he just felt a little bit distant. And Steve will know what I mean, because Steve stood there and spent 10 minutes with me talking to him last time. He was wide-eyed, he was enjoying the conversation, wanting to talk, really open. And when I saw him last time, he was just a very different human being. And whether at the time I thought, right, that's just wear and tear of a long, hard season and loads of pressure, just getting to him a little bit, and he's woke up on the wrong side of bed. But now, looking back with hindsight, this has been cooking since before Christmas, 100%.
Rio, before Steve comes in and gives his opinion, because we really want to hear what obviously you have to say, Steve, I just want to say a massive hello to everybody who's joining in right about now. We will be taking questions at the end of the show. We're seeing all the super chats, everything coming in. All of the Rio Ferdinand Presents community is locking in, so please share this video. Steve, are you surprised at what's happened today? And are you happy with him going? These are the two questions I got for you.
No, I'm not happy a manager's gone at all. Especially in light of what was a couple of international breaks ago where Jim Ratcliffe came out and was like, let's judge him after 3 years. Rio's correct in terms of the press conferences. Last night's press conference on my own channel has done 3 times the views of my post-match review, showing you just how much interest everyone had in, oh my God, what's just gone on here with that press conference? Because it was strong, and I knew it was going to get taken a certain way, and I don't necessarily think it was meant to be taken the way that I think a lot of the tabloids took it. But there might have been some setting out of his stall, some sort of moderation of responsibility going on from Ruben Amorim with that. And he clearly had a bee in his bonnet about something. Now, how that got taken was anyone's guess. Clearly didn't get taken well by the hierarchy. And after I finish there, I'm going to get one of you to read the quote out from the club, because the club have clapped back. The club have literally just responded in the statement of sacking him to what he said in that press conference. So that press conference had a heavy weigh-in, as well as the results, because let's be honest, the results have not been good enough in any stretch of the imagination. But the press conference that piqued my interest actually was Saturday's, because the way he was responding on Saturday, for someone that's been very open, very honest, to start, when asked about, did you not understand the squad that you had and the signings that you needed to make when you came here? And he kind of shut it down and no commented it. And he was like, That's a bit of a weird one. And it did feel like something had changed. And there was an article from I think it was the Guardian, weird one, on Saturday for someone that's been very open, very honest.
Happy New Year. In terms of the squad, are there going to be
him to what he said in that press conference? So that press conference had a heavy weigh-in, as well as the results, because let's be honest, the results have not been good enough in any stretch of the imagination. But the press conference that piqued my interest actually was Saturday's, because the way he was responding on Saturday, for someone that's been very open, very honest, to start, when asked about, did you not understand the squad that you had and the signings that you needed to make when you came here? And he kind of shut it down and no commented it. And he was like,
any players back and any other issues? Obviously, players like Harry and Bruno would be a huge boost for a player. What are you expecting from?
No, I a big rivalry. One more game, I try to win.
Ruben, I just wonder, bigger picture-wise, when you look at where the club were at post-Europa League final, 6 months on to be 6th, 3 points off the top 4 place. In the bigger picture, are you happy with the progress the team have made as you start 2020?
No, I think we are playing better. When we have the full squad, we are clearly attacking better. We are not being good enough in the details. We should have more points in the moment, but of course we want always more. And we should have more points in the table.
Daniel, Ruben, Daniel Farke's Leeds now are a very different team than they were maybe 2 or 3 months ago. How difficult is this game going to be?
They have a lot of pace, and sometimes we struggle with pace. They are confident, but we prove that we can win any game in any situation, in every context. So we will try to do that again. We know that they changed the system. They have different players in front. They can. The last game they rotate the 2 players that usually are the starters. So they have good players, good manager. Great environment. Is going to be a tough game.
Ruben, in terms of the rivalry, you obviously played for Benfica, you managed Sporting. Can you kind of...
It's rivalry, different environment, different derbs. We'll try to...
The crowd will be really, really...
You guys have the best league in the world of draws, so it's going to be tough. But it's always tough nowadays in Premier League.
Hi, Ruben. We've seen Liverpool and Chelsea drop points as well this week. Does the fact you've put yourself in such a promising position change what you're thinking this month in terms of the transfer window? Is it worth kind of pushing the envelope a little bit further to make sure you get top 4, top 5?
The transfer window is not going to change. We have no conversation in this moment to have any change in the squad. There's a process, there's an idea that is going to continue. We are near the places of Champions League, but we are near also for like 8 teams behind us. So let's focus on the next game, just that, and our focus is to win the next game.
Chris and then Samuel.
Hi, Ruben. You played some very young players in the last few games, Fletcher, Lacey and Ansato. Given the hostile nature of the environment on Sunday, will that impact your selection at all?
No, of course we look to everything, but they need to be prepared. You can see the squad; it's impossible. We cannot stretch the players that we don't have in the moment. But of course, I will try to put a team that is ready to cope with that, and then I will try to read the game and try to understand what I should do to help them to win the game.
You're confident if needed, those kids can handle that kind of atmosphere?
They have to. It's a game in the hostile environment, but they need to be ready and they need to experience that. But it's going to be hard for any player, even the guys with a lot of experience. But again, we already experienced that. Bilbao last year was amazing, the sound. So it's good. I know that the feeling is completely different, but they need to be ready.
Tyrone's question: have any players come and knocked on your door and asked if they could leave this month? If Joshua Zirkzee?
No, none of them.
Would you expect any of them to?
No, I don't expect them to come to me to ask anything.
Like, that's a bit of a weird one. And it did feel like something had changed. And there was an article from I think it was The Guardian last night, which said that there'd been friction between Amorim and the hierarchy over playing a back four. And that had come
No, we have our
over the last couple of months. Now, United have started switching to a back four in recent weeks, and we actually look pretty damn good playing in a back four. Yesterday we went back to a back three, and even though Leeds couldn't get through us, apart from individual errors, a few clangers from a couple of individuals for the goal that Leeds scored, we looked like we were pretty controlling, but we don't look dangerous. And the problem that we've got is, even though we have improved in certain metrics, like we're like the second or third best chance creators in the league, we've had 2 clean sheets, and we're not winning games. You know, and some of those goals and chances that we've scored, they've come in 4-all draws. A manager's job is to get the wins. And yes, you can take your time and you can do this, that, and the other. And currently, right now, the fact is we sit in 6th place. However, Manchester City, Arsenal coming up next, Burnley Wednesday night, that's 9 points across 3 match weeks. There's only like 3 points for us down to 12th. So as much as anyone wants to look up and go, if we win a game, we'll be level with Liverpool. Yeah, but if the teams below you win a game, you're 12th. And me and Rio was talking about that either last night or this morning, I think, where we're saying the progress feels like it's been quite tangible in terms of the chance creation. But at the same time, there hasn't been progress. I personally, and I know Rio disagrees with me on this, but I feel like we artificially deflated our league position by concentrating on Europa League last season. So I actually don't think we were 15th. And I know we came 15th, but I don't think we were 15th. I think we might have been 10th to 12th, somewhere in that sort of range.
That's fair. That's fair as hell. Because you guys went hard for the Europa League to try to get the Champions League and then worry about league next year. That's why you guys had the Lyon and I think the Bilbao and all that shit. And then obviously the final. That's fair. That's a fair reflection. If you guys would have just benned off that, and instead of playing those fucking tough ass games, you'd have just been out of the tournament and saved it for the league. Yeah, you probably would have finished 10th. I agree with that.
So if we end up being overtaken and end up in 10th or 12th again, has there actually been any progress?
The only thing I'd say, like I said earlier when we were chatting, and listen, guys, welcome on, guys, to the live. I'm glad you are, guys, with us. Make sure you stay. Make sure you keep telling mates and friends to come and join in, because we're going to be here for a while, and we will answer your questions later. But just go back to your point there, Steve. I get what you're saying, right? But I would understand when a top team starts saying we're going to take our foot off our gas and concentrate more on Europe. Man United are not Man United of old, and we've got to stop thinking like we can actually afford, or we have the ability to go, right, guys, we're going to pick and choose our performances and games we're going to play in and give our all for, because
okay, that's fair.
We are not good enough to do that. So
okay, yes,
we can.
That's right. That's like Wolves saying, you know what? I know we have 6 points, but if we're still in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, we're gonna play for the win in the FA Cup, and then we'll forget about the league, and then we'll also play for the Carabao Cup. Like, you ain't good enough to be worrying about shit other than your league position. All the other cups and stuff, that extra shit, bro, fuck that. You need to worry about the league. First of all, staying in this league. Because United take that for granted. Because you've always been, well, you've been in the league for a long time. So you almost feel entitled to the Premier League. Like you can't get relegated. So you're just like, all right, we're not worried about the league. We'll worry about Europe. What? Bro, you finished 12th. In theory, we'll say. 15th, but 12th in theory, maybe 10th. That's where you are, bro. You need to focus. Like Palace, they got a fucking cup. I'm sure they're worried about getting a league now. They got some silverware. It looks good. The fans love it. But wouldn't their fans rather than be pushing up like Europe? Their fans are probably pissed Sunderland gonna come up from the Champions League and be doing this well. If they had a run like we had, they would have been one of the teams up there. Like back in the day, Everton were up there. You see them running around the bottom of the league. It never used to be like that. Everton were up top. Go ahead, Rio.
Right, because he had a unique style of playing football, a new unique formation and a unique style of football that wasn't something that everyone played. The majority played differently. 3 at the back, 5 at the back, with wing backs, however you want to play it. But the club knew what they were signing. The club went for him knowing that that was the way he was going to play. And by the way that he spoke in his press conferences, that was something that would have been reiterated all the time in negotiations. This is who I am. This is what I'm going to be. He said it when he signed. There's going to be a long time, a time of pain here. It's lasted longer than anyone would have imagined. Right. But what I would say is I understand now, and I think he would sit there and go, you know what, this is why I never went and played a back four. This is why I never went away from what I'm known for being successful as, because once I do that, he said, yes, I lose the trust of my players because they feel that I don't believe in what I'm doing because I'm changing. But 2, the club will use it against me. Now, I'm not saying the club are wrong by any chance, but I'm just saying if you sit in his shoes, he's been proven right in that case because, and listen, I know the results haven't been, he could have been sacked just on the results, but I'm just saying based on how he's gone about everything, he's been stubborn. He stuck to what he thought was right because he knew that if he went away from what he was signed for, which is to go and play in a back four, and it done well, like it has in recent weeks, even yesterday in the Leeds game, went to a back four, looked much better. He knew that the club would then go, well, why don't we stick with the back four? What's going on?
But that doesn't make him right, Rio.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying I understand why he's sick.
How does that not make him right? Bro, you signed him knowing what he was gonna do. Bro, you're just ignoring that part of the sentence. Do you know some sentences they're like a brick wall. You can't get past it. If you try to add on to it, it's just not gonna work. Fucking. Are you back? Are you back? Babu. Are we good? Okay, we're good. Let's see if the stream's back up. They put me offline. It's good. Would you reroute me? I bet.
Because he's sitting there going, I don't play a back four. That's not the way I play. So I'll be starting from a weaker position than any manager in the league because that is not my game. That's not my identity.
But
It's like saying, it's like you going and saying and signing as a certain person and a certain way that you carry yourself, then absolutely changing to something different.
Yes, that's like signing as a fucking striker and end up having to play center back. That's not what you do. That's something completely fucking different. That's like signing Sesko and now you guys have him back there next to Yarrow. That's what making a guy that only plays 3-4-3 play 4 back. That's exactly what you did to Amorim. That's what the Glazers did to Amorim. Pay attention. That's what they did. They made a person that he said, and he didn't change till towards the end to prove it. This is what I do. Why did you sign me here? Why do you guys sign people and then lie to them, or not hold up your end of the bargain, and then go change your mind 3 months later? You knew when I came in I was gonna only play 3 at the back. I need fast center backs. I need fast and good wingers. I don't need a striker and fucking Cunha and fucking Mbemo. I need fast outside backs. I need Maguire not in the team. I need Shaw not in the team. I need those players replaced with good, fast players, young players. Even if we want to do the Chelsea model and have a bunch of young players, at least they're not old old players that we know can't win a title. At this club, at least.
That everyone else plays, everyone else knows better. You're starting from a weaker position.
Of course. You're a striker. You signed as a striker to score 20 goals a season, and they have you at center back. Good luck scoring 20 goals.
I get you. I think he has to. I think his biggest mistake was he didn't adapt enough. And I think that you have to adapt. And we've seen. I've always said this. Pep Guardiola come into this league as the best manager in the world, right? Had to adapt. Didn't win the league first season. Why? Oh, he mentioned second balls. Didn't know anything about second balls. Saw it, adapted, and worked accordingly. And he adapts every other year.
What does second balls have to do with a 3-4-3? Second balls is about hard work and desire. He didn't know in the Premier League that players have to work twice as hard. That has nothing to do with the fact that Amorim's trying to play a 3-4-3 and he doesn't have the players that can do it. So he loses games and you guys blame him. He comes out in interviews and says he's the head coach and not the manager. Do you understand the distinction? The head coach coaches players and trains them. A manager encompasses everything. If you guys watch the old videos, Sir Alex was there with Ronaldo in Portugal. That's what a manager does. They're part of the recruitment. They're part of the medical team. They know all the medical team. They know everything. Amorim literally just said that they don't give any manager those rights. So who has those rights? The ownership of the club, which is the Glazers. They own all of that. So when you guys want to talk about managers, oh, Ruben Amorim, he didn't sell Bruno. He kept Bruno because they're both Portuguese and he likes him. Do you see he just said he's not the manager? He had nothing to do with that shit. He had nothing to do with it. A head coach doesn't buy and sell players, do they? Does a manager? No. All they can do is go talk to players. The owner opens their checkbook. What if the owner doesn't open their checkbook? If you're get out of here, or I have to kill you, fucking thing. If you're the manager of Derby County, and you say, all right, bro, tell you what, for us to play good at Derby County, the manager says, you know what? The manager's Rooney again. And Rooney says, hey, we need Jude Bellingham. Okay. So the owner says, all right, bet. Okay, we're gonna back you. You say you need this player. All right, let's go get this player. He goes down, goes to fucking Madrid. Hey, man, how much would it cost? Oh, 120 million. Derby County owner says, go fuck yourself, Wayne. You see how you can want something and not get it? You see how the owners could also do the same thing? Just like how they told him to fuck off. I'm not giving you 100 mil for a player. I'm also just gonna use 100 mil and get this player. Sesko, Cunha, and Mbeumo. You see how the manager has nothing to do with that, right? He doesn't have the checkbook. So he can make all the suggestions in the world. He doesn't cut the check.
Do you know what I mean? Inverted wing backs, full-backs. He never had that before. He adapts. They know they play outside. Centre backs playing right and left back. This is all adapting to the league.
Who's gonna adapt? Who's gonna adapt? Can Dallo play a fusion of a striker and center back and then also outside back? Or can Maguire, is Maguire's heading prowess now going to be turned and he's going to become the best striker in the league? Where's the adaptation with players like that? You can't grow. You see how players are growing? Like Virgil, all those years at Liverpool, that was a growth. What kind of growth are you going to get with Luke Shaw? What kind of growth did you get? And Maguire? It's not always just about harping on them, but it's the decisions that the owners made that cost you guys, and you're wondering why. Did you forget you could just not have Luke Shaw and Maguire? You could have had Matip and Virgil. You could have bought them from Liverpool, for fuck's sake. That's also an option. That's something I was thinking about yesterday, Man United fans. For any other real Man United fans, how much would you be willing to do anything to save your club? Would you guys buy Mo Salah if you felt like he could give you guys 15 goals before the end of the season? Would United fans buy Salah? Would you swallow your pride if you knew he could get you 15 goals? Oh, he's a rival. He played for them. Fuck that. Oh, okay, so you guys have the old United. But you don't realize your club needs, you don't realize that you need so much. You take all the hype, but you take Semenyo. You guys would have took Semenyo. You took Casemiro. Why wouldn't you take Salah? Oh, it's the same reason why you won't take your own fucking players back from loan. Your own homegrown Marcus Rashford, you guys don't want him back. What the fuck? You guys talking about January transfer window, you got 5 players out on loan. Five players starting at other teams. What the fuck? What kind of business is that? You're supposed to be trying to get all the good players into your team like Man City do. You guys are getting them in and loaning them the fuck out. The Glazers are.
To the terrain that he's actually going about. So that is my biggest thing with Ruben Amorim. His win rate wasn't good enough, was shocking. The only improvement that we've seen since he's been here is the goals and chances created this year on the back of 3 new attacking players signed, but he was yet to find the right balance that made us a better team. Our league position looks much healthier where we are right now, but is it sustainable doing what we do? We still look a bit fragile, and we look a bit, you don't know what you're going to get. The worst position for me to be in as a Man United guy is that we go into a game and go, we're more likely probably going to get beat, or at best, I just don't know what to call on this Saturday afternoon. I don't know where we're at. The successful teams are going into it, you're going, we'll win here. If we might get a draw away there, but home games, 95% of the time, we're going to win that.
For everyone coming in, massive shout out to you guys. We're doing some serious numbers here on the live. Don't just be here.
I think what United have done today is stupid, and not because I think Ruben Amorim is the best manager in the world and that we should keep him forever and that everything's been brilliant. It clearly hasn't. He's clearly a manager that's on the very edge of whether he's good enough to keep managing Manchester United. I think anyone would be mad to say otherwise. It has not been good enough at Manchester United. But what we've done is seen a manager play a system that doesn't suit the squad. We've hired him anyway. Then we've given him to the end of the season. It was utterly horrific and gone, no, you know what? We're going to back him. We think it can work. It's got to improve. You've got to get top 6. Then you go into the next season. You're in the top 6. And then you go, actually, no, now we're going to sack him. And start this absolute turmoil again. We're almost exactly halfway through the season. Yep. The second half of the season is mental now. Is it Darren Fletcher for the end of the season? Maybe. Do we get an interim to the interim like we did with Ralph Rangnick? Remember how that worked out? It was an utter disaster. And the thing is, you bring Darren Fletcher in, and this is no insult to Darren Fletcher. He's never managed a first team, a men's team in his life, I don't think.
No.
So you're either saying one of a few things. A, Darren Fletcher is sort of secretly this kind of top-level manager that we think could one day go on to be a great manager. B, we think that the current manager is so toxic and bad that he's getting less out of these players than just an average coach would.
Yep.
Or C, we've fallen out with him, it's not going to work, and we've both been overly emotional and we've had to sack him. I think C is the most likely of those scenarios, and that for me is the worst one for Manchester United.
Yep.
When we look at the future of Manchester United and how we're being ran, hiring people that the system doesn't make sense, then no, we're going to back it. No, you've got to change your system. And then when the manager doesn't like that you're bringing him in and making him change who he is, then you sack him. What are we doing?
No.
What does this say? You've fucked up the sacking of Erik ten Hag. You didn't like him, you didn't want him, you kept him anyway because we, as United fans, typically thought, actually, if you win the FA Cup, you should probably start the next season, rightly or wrongly. You kept him on, then you sacked him in November, then you get another manager in, it's terrible, you keep him anyway. Again, you have another summer where you go, maybe we could cut loose this guy, like we did, potentially could have done with Ten Hag last season. No, what, we'll go and back him. And then you sack him halfway through the season anyway.
Yeah.
Since Ineos have arrived, no manager has made it to the end of the season. What does that say?
Yeah.
So I get that, you know, and I'm optimistic overall that they're going to be better than the Glazers because the Glazers didn't care and they put idiots in charge.
Yeah.
This alternative so far hasn't been much better.
No, it hasn't.
And we need to work out why it hasn't been better. We already got rid of Dan Ashworth because he thought that a 5 at the back doesn't make sense for Man United and for the squad that we've got. But at some point, we have to start seeing this vision. We have to start seeing why we're trusting these people. I think the transfers have been better, but the way they've handled Ten Hag and Amorim is embarrassing. I think what United have done today is stupid, and not because I think Ruben Amorim is the best manager in the world and that we should keep.